Hi everybody, it's Lyndsey and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a speed build, but it's not any ordinary speed build. We are doing a collab with my good friend AllySim. And for our collab, what we're doing is, it's pretty basic. We're both creating houses, we're doing builds. So we're both building houses, and then each of us, we're going to be furnishing the other person's house, if that makes sense. So she's making a house, I'm making a house, and then she'll furnish my house that I made, and I'll furnish the house she made. That makes sense, right? It makes sense. So basically what we ended up doing is we both went on Pinterest because Pinterest is my world, and we picked out some floor plans that we were really interested in building. And so we each picked out, like, I picked out 4, she picked out 4, and then the other person had to just pick out the one that the other person would do. So she picked out this house for me, and I picked out her house for her. So I will say this house was a little more challenging than I anticipated. Even though it was one of my options I picked, I wasn't expecting it to be so difficult. And it's not that difficult. It's just with houses that the second story being mainly covered by the roof, it kind of limits you in a lot with what you can do. And that's just what I've noticed with builds like this. But it's funny because I kind of like builds like that. I like how they look aesthetically. They're very pretty because it kind of reminds me of a ranch house. And this is kind of based off a ranch house, which I love. I want to own a ranch house someday. Like this is kind of close to what my dream house would be. So I had a lot of fun building this house, and you'll get to see soon later in the week the house I furnished for Allie, and I am obsessed with that house. It's like a California Spanish kind of inspired build, and it's just absolutely stunning. It's something a millionaire would probably live in. She did such an amazing job. So I'm so excited for you to see hers on her channel. Go subscribe, AllySim. Go subscribe to her and go check out her build after this one. I think she'll be posting it after this one. I don't know. I should know this. I think she will be. But I'll link her channel in the description so then you can check it out for yourself. So, guys, I have a quick story for you today. Well, not really quick. It's a story, though. I was actually telling my fiance, I was complaining, as I do. I was saying, I was like, I don't have any stories to tell. My life is not interesting. But then last week, a story happened. So basically, I was home alone, as per usual, because that's what I do. I'm home alone working. And my fiance, he works pretty far away. So he's off at work, and we live with my parents because, you know, we're a young couple trying to save money. So my parents are out of the house, so no one's home. And I'm just home with the cats, all alone. And then I start hearing heavy, heavy footsteps. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, is that my cats? Are they running around and being loud? And so I go check, and one of my cats at the time, she was in quarantine basically because she had just been fixed. So she had to like wear the cone of shame, and she was confined to a small room. So she had food and water, and she was fine. Like we weren't depriving her of anything. We just had to keep her away from things. Like she couldn't jump around. So it wasn't obviously her. And my other cat, he was in my room, I saw, and I was just like, oh my goodness, it's not my cats. What is that noise? So I listened from my bedroom, and I kid you not, they're heavy, heavy footsteps. It sounds like a bunch of people are walking downstairs. And so I freak out. I lock my door. I'm texting my fiance, and I'm just saying, his name's Chris, my fiance, Chris. And I'm just saying, hey, I'm really anxious right now because I think there's somebody in the house. And he's like, oh no, it's probably the cats. And I'm just like, no, I know it's not the cats. It's definitely not the cats. And so he tells me to go look outside to see if there's any cars out in the driveway. And I'm thinking, okay, there's probably not. Like, I'm just overreacting. I go to look out my window, and there are 2 cars right in front of my house. One is a big truck blocking my driveway. They're not in my driveway. They're completely blocking my driveway, so no one could get in, no one could get out. It is so scary. And their trunks are open, and there's another car that's in front of my house. So it was not a good situation. So I sent him the picture, thinking he would know. Maybe like a repair person or like somebody was at the house I just didn't know about. But no, he didn't even recognize these cars. So what he told me gave me chills. He said, lock the door and put a chair in front of it. And I'm just like, oh my God. He's a very rational person. So he would not say something like that unless it was a real emergency or situation. So I went to my closet because I wanted to be separated by another room. I go in my closet. I can't lock the door. There's not a lock. So I barricade it. It's a big closet. So I can barricade it with like a chair and a hamper. So I'm in there and I try to call my mom. Maybe she knew who was at the house. I call her. She doesn't pick up. I'm like, okay, who do I call next? And the only plausible person or place to call would be 911. So I called 911, shaking, I'm crying, I'm freaking out, like 100% convinced there's somebody downstairs who broke into my house. I'm terrified. And I call them. I'm just like, I'm very dramatic sounding. I'm like, there's somebody in my house. Someone's here. They're going to murder me. So they tell me like, okay, well, just calm down. And they ask me where I am. So I give them my information. They ask me who I am. And so all of that's happening. And my fiance, he's on his way home from work. Like he's booking it now. Once he realized there's a stranger at our house, he is just full dash 100 miles per hour on the freeway to our house. So while I'm on the phone with the operator, he's calling me, like trying to get to me, freaking out. My mom's trying to text me and call me. And so I found out that he called 911 to make sure that I had called them, just so you know, like I wasn't actually murdered. And so yeah, it was just so scary. So like I'm in my closet, shaking, crying, like I'm a mess. And it was actually a very short amount of time. They told me the cops were coming, and the cops got there right away. They got there within like 5 minutes. It was insane. And the operator, she was so sweet. She was so nice. I was just panicking and terrified. And she told me to go downstairs because the cops were there and they wanted to talk to me. And I was just like, I just don't want to be in trouble if it's like somebody that's supposed to be here. But like no one was supposed to be here. Even Chris asked my mom, like he asked her, like, is anyone supposed to be at the house? And she said, no one's supposed to be there. So none of us knew of anybody that was supposed to be there. So I'm on the phone and I'm so upset. I'm just like, because I was home alone and I'm telling this operator, I'm like, I don't look presentable. I don't look good because my hair was like up and I was wearing shorts and I looked awful. And she's like, they don't care what you look like, honey. They just want you to be safe. And I'm just like, okay. So I go downstairs shaking, and I thought there'd be like, I don't know, like 2 cops maybe. There were 6 cops in our front yard. I'm just like, oh my God, what have I done? So I go there, I open the door, and there's the cops, and they're talking to me. And apparently what happened was that there was like an insurance roofing company or something. Then they were supposed to be there checking out the roof. So those heavy footsteps I heard all downstairs were actually echoes from the roof. And I'm like, how did I not put that together? It was so crazy. And I don't know why, because they didn't have any logos on their cars. They had nothing like to tell they were a company. And it was just so weird, especially with how they were blocking my driveway. And they didn't ring the doorbell. They didn't call or anybody to like let them know they were there. They didn't like knock on the door, nothing. Like no idea, because I guess they weren't expecting a person to be there. But we found out my dad knew about it, but he completely forgot and forgot to tell anybody. So we were just all it was such a weird situation. But the cops were so nice. I wasn't in trouble. They were actually mad at the roof people because they're like, you didn't even ring the doorbell. Like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. So, and apparently that happens. The roofing company said that happens often because for some reason, just people assume they're breaking in, which, you know, it's plausible. But they were so sweet and so nice. They're the cops, not the roof people. And they were just saying how I did the right thing and how it's a really scary situation. But they were glad that I called because in case it was real. Thankfully, it wasn't real. Oh my goodness, that would have been so terrifying. But after that, I was just like kind of freaked out to be home alone because it happens almost every day. That's not something I should share. But yeah, it was just It was so crazy. It was so, so crazy, but I'm all good. I'm okay. Nobody actually broke into my house. Sorry for the clickbait, no. But yeah, it was so crazy. So that happened last week, and I think we're getting one of those smart like doorbells or something just in case, because we live in a really safe area, but it's still like it's freaky. It's super, super freaky. But yeah, that was fun story time there. But yeah, so just in case you hear footsteps downstairs, I don't know, it might be a roofing company. You never know. Or it could be a burglar. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about this now. Back to the house. Doesn't it look so great? I actually really like how it turned out. It is so precious. It reminds me like a big family living on a ranch or a farm. And I wish we could have stables in The Sims, you know? I think that would be a really nifty thing with horses. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love cats and dogs, but I would have loved horses or like other animals. I would have loved cows and just farm animals. I think that would have been so much fun. I would love a farm expansion pack. I know they're probably never going to do that because it's not in demand whatsoever. Seasons is in demand. I would love Seasons. Oh my gosh, what if they did like a farm Seasons expansion? That would be cool. I would love that. I just love that idea. But we're getting to the end of the build now, and I hope you enjoyed my crazy not so break-in story. And I will be posting a really fun video tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. No spoilers, but yeah, you should stay tuned. And don't forget to follow AllySim. She's furnishing this house and then making her own house that I'm going to be furnishing later in the week. So please go check that out and subscribe to her. And I will see you guys all next time. Bye.